welcome Diederik and Hans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Let's jump into some of the things that we're going to tackle today. Let's talk about the survey first. So can you give us an understanding of the breadth and the depth of the survey and what was involved with it?
The survey is a global one. It was distributed to about 2,500 people throughout the IT community. We did address different roles going from CIO -1 to procurement people, actually people in the field of item and so on. And if you look at it from an industry perspective, it was cross industry, so going from financial services to public sector, everything in between.
All right. How much are organizations' item needs shifting based on today's environment? Hans, take that one.
I think that there are a couple of items which have an enormous impact on IT asset management, being the digital transformation, so the moving to the cloud, the technological evolutions, everything around containers, Kubernetes, and new technological evolution, and then definitely our post-pandemic working spirit. How do people now work? That also has led to a lot of other software moving to that portfolio. So the span that they need to cover is definitely increasing and is getting more challenging.
Thank you. What are the one or two takeaways for our audience about maturing the processes as they move more resources into the cloud?
Cloud, it's a thing that they're not really familiar with. It's not always something that is decided by the IT department alone, because it can also grow from within the business. So they're not always prepared on what is happening there. And what we also see is that all of a sudden, somewhere within their organization, there is a cloud FinOps team that happens to be there. Nobody knows where they come from. They don't talk to the item team, and actually they're working towards the same goal. And that is something that we see as very important in the near future, that either your cloud FinOps function can grow out of the item team, or if there is one inside of your organization, they need to grow together because they're serving the same purpose.
I like that. So the thought could be that if you don't have a FinOps going right now, you might want to start one up within the ITAM practice, right?
I think there is a nice career opportunity for people that want to do that.
Oh, very good. Okay. What were some of the most interesting insights you discovered? I'll give that to both of you just quickly.
So for me, that was with the new kid on the block, cloud. So adding the complexity, but also having a push on actually cost reduction, that those two things actually are not complementing, but opposites of each other. So for item, that will be one of the next big challenges. And then another thing that I thought was very interesting to see is that, again, vendor relationships are getting more and more important, not only for item as a whole, but actually the vendors as a business partner to do better business in the future.
For me specifically, it was that organizations, more than half of the organizations, have still not created item or developed item in a self-funded way, meaning that what we look at is making sure that there are cost efficiency, that there are cost savings going hand in hand with IT asset management. And still a lot of those organizations are either fixing the basis or still in that early stage.
Very good. Does the bar keep moving on maturity, and what does the data suggest we focus on to get there?
I think at this moment, the bar is moving, albeit in a very slow way. I think given the complexity about digital transformation, the move to the cloud, the evolving licensing models, it's very hard for organizations to basically increase that maturity on a good pace. So I think they are getting there, but in a very slow manner, given that they need to cover more and more ground.
For me, what is important is that on the one hand, there is a maturity actually in reaching the job that you do, the execution of item. And on the other hand, you also have the maturity on how item contributes to the business. On the one hand, maturity of item is rising in the traditional aspects, but actually it's a little bit countered by the new and emerging technologies, which are a little bit harder to understand because they're new and they have to be incorporated. On the other hand, we do see that shift from merely data gathering and reporting to actually becoming a partner of the business and providing them with advice, and sometimes even adding to decision making based on information coming from the ITAM function.
Very good. There was another data point, and maybe Hans, you can answer this. Said that 82% aspire to make significant progress over the next 2 years. That seems like a lofty goal. And when I looked at the numbers in the chart, it looked like about 18% of those who were in the repeatable area would have to leapfrog all the way up to the managed and optimized. So I'm just curious some of your insights about that and what could accelerate that for people.
So I think the basics is always that all the times your IT asset management and the maturity of organizations, they always want to grow. I do believe that given the complexity and given the continuous evolution, it is making it very hard to move to managed and optimized. If you look on a global level, there are also not that many organizations who are yet in that stage and are able to stay over there because it requires a lot of investment. What I believe works well is if you have a party such as Deloitte, which can basically maintain the basics, make sure that they give all the necessary insight to the ITAM team at the organization, so that the IT asset management team can really focus on the strategy, be advising in an advisory role to the organization, and sit in those important meetings in order to show the value that ITAM can bring to the organization.
What are 3 quick things that Deloitte can do to help customers with the process of maturity?
A cloud FinOps project, let's put it like that as a whole. I believe it has a lot of ins and outs. It starts with basically your strategical part where you decide, okay, which applications will I put over, which service will I put over towards the cloud, to which cloud provider, which will I transfer any of my software, along with actually the ongoing sort of monitoring on the software being used and all the costs associated to this. Second item, hardware asset management. We noticed already a couple of years that a lot of the SAM managers are transferring to ITAM managers, and then hardware becomes an integrated part of their role. However, we see that they're struggling with this, and that also the life cycle is, of course, a little bit different than in a software. All in all, whenever starting up with this, I believe an assessment of the entire lifecycle process of your hardware assets is key for you to understand, okay, how is it right now and how do I want to change it moving forward to basically the optimized state, again, increasing that maturity. And a third one, I mean, think that data transparency, having trustworthy data, that's the best layer where you basically have an ongoing monitoring of that data. You understand your contracts, your entitlements, you understand how new terms and conditions are affecting your license compliance position, what you can do better, how you migrate to more cost-efficient solutions. Is cloud really more cost-efficient? All of those questions where we as Deloitte can help out with in order to determine the best way forward for a company.
The cloud cost might be dispersed across the company, and I always compare it like having an open tap at a bar. You're just consuming, and at the end you're getting your bill, and okay, you might have had fun, but you're always very surprised when you see the outcome of that. Now, if you look at what organizations can do, is first take a step like do a show back. And what I mean with that is try to get all the spend that you have on cloud, do your calculations and show it to the business, show it to your IT department, that they actually get a sense of, look, this is what we're spending, this is how the spend is increasing or decreasing, what have you, and this is what the effect of doing additional business has on our cloud bill. Once they get that concept, and once you have your process right, and that's definitely something that we can help you with, then you can start to do the chargeback if that is what you want to do. But the showback, that is for me the most important.
So take those baby steps, right? Show
Yes.
them what's coming, and then finally dump it on them. Like that open bill, I mean, that open tab is, now you get to pay it. So very good. All right. Hey, thanks for joining me, Hans and
Welcome.
Dieter. And I really appreciate your insights. It was a fascinating survey to look at and to go through. And I think there's some really good points that if we focus on a little bit at a time, we can move that bar for ourselves, right? Very good.
Very good. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the result.
Okay. All right. All right. Take care, guys. And we'll see
Take
you.
care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.